Hello there everyone, Shibby here. Hope everyone out there's doing well, and today I'm back with a different type of video than what I usually make, and that is today we're going to be constructing a roster within Tier Maker here. Now, what kind of roster are we going to be constructing? We're going to try to build a roster for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Now, if you've kept up with the channel the past few days, you'll know that was lucky enough to get into the closed beta and try it out, and I really enjoyed it, really liked it, and it just kind of got me thinking, well, who all is going to make it into the final cut of a 4v4 fighting game? There's only 6 characters in the beta, so obviously there's going to be much more than that. I don't know how big the end roster will be. With Arc Systems previous games, who's the developer of this game, I'm going to take kind of like Dragon Ball Fighters into account, which was a roster of around 24. But for this video, I'm going to try to expand that out to 40 since it is a 4v4. Now, realistically, I do not think at all the in-game roster for, well, not the in-game roster, but the launch roster for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls will be anywhere close to that. But we're going to do 40 just because Marvel has a bunch of characters that are awesome and iconic, and it's kind of hard to leave people out. So I just did 40 to give myself a little wiggle room here. Now, I've never made a video like this before, so bear with me. I don't know if it'll be interesting or boring or not with my kind of opinion here, but we're going to try to get through this. Now, there's like 600 characters on this tier list that I found on Tier Maker. We're not going to go through all of them individually, or else this will be like a 10-hour video. I kind of have a little bit of an idea in my mind of who might make it and who might not. And if I happen to see someone on here that happens to catch my eyes, we'll throw them up here. Yeah, basically what I plan to do, we're going to try to build a 40 character roster and then build like maybe like the first wave of DLC roster. Now 10 is probably too much for that as well, but we're going to do nice even numbers here. So yeah, that's my my spiel, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, we're just trying to build a roster here, and feel free to let me know at the end of this, if you make it all the way through, what characters you think I missed, what characters you think for sure are locks, and what characters do I have up here that you don't think will make it at all. But this is going to be a combination of realism and just my hopes and dreams. So we'll see what all we end up with at the end here. But yeah, I'm speaking too much now and not getting anything done. All right, well, we know who the first 8 that are going to be in the game for sure, because they've been in all the trailers and stuff. So let's go ahead and throw them up here as we have to dig them out of a 600 character thing. Perhaps I picked too many. So let's find Cap. Of course, we know the poster boy of the game is going to be in here somewhere. So let's find Captain America. Hopefully these are all in alphabetical order, and they are. All right, so Cap's up here. We know he's in the game. We also know Iron Man is in the launch roster as well, which should be not surprising to anyone because he was in the beta along with Captain America. We also know Doctor Doom is in the final roster, as he was in the, or not in the final roster, but this opening roster, because he was in the beta as well. And Miss Marvel was also on that starting roster, and she was a nightmare to deal with in the beta to begin with. She has a bunch of stuff that I did not know how to deal with, which you probably saw in my videos if you haven't watched any of those. But now I have to find her. Honestly, is this Marvel not here? Surely. Okay, yeah, I'm just blind and stupid. All right, so there's Miss Marvel. We know she's on the launch roster as well. And we also know that Ghost Rider, despite not being in the beta, he's on the box art and everything. We've seen him in trailers. He's there as well, and let's go ahead and fish out the character that I want to play the most in this game and Marvel's poster boy. So we know Spider-Man is locked in as well. And now who in the world am I missing? We're missing Star-Lord. Star-Lord, who is probably maybe agreed upon to be the, maybe I'm just overstepping, the strongest character in the beta, at least. Who knows if they'll stay that way. But he just had a lot of stuff that was hard to deal with and hard to learn, at least for me, in the short time that the beta was open. Now, who am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting someone because my mind... There's only 7 characters up here, and I know there's 8. My mind is an enigma. All right, so we got Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Star-Lord. Who am I forgetting? This is starting to get painful. Who am I missing? Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider. Oh, Storm. I'm an idiot. Storm is missing. Let me go and grab Storm. And Storm also opens up kind of a can of worms for this because we know we're going to get X-Men. The question is how much of this roster is going to be dominated by X-Men? Who knows? But I think I have a few that are definites for sure. But yes, this is our opening roster that we know for sure are going to be here, and everything after this is guesswork. So these are our first 8 characters: Cap, Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, and Storm. Now, who else could possibly be here? Now, I think there's pretty obvious ones. Since I got Storm up here, let's go down the X-Men path of X-Men that I think will probably be here. And who else other than Wolverine would not be here? I mean, you gotta have Wolverine. He's the most iconic X-Men. He's gotta be here if you're gonna have X-Men at all. It just would not make sense to me if Wolverine was not here. Now, another lock I think that is probably gonna be here is probably Cyclops, being the leader of the X-Men, being pivotal in Marvel vs. Capcom and the poster boy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I kind of think he has to be here. Now, granted, Marvel vs. Capcom probably has very little to deal with how Arxis is handling the game, but I kind of think Cyclops has got to be here. And in the same vein here, I kind of think Magneto is just another given. Like, I really don't know how, especially how famous and popular the character is, how you can leave Magneto out here. So this puts us at 11. We've got 3 X-Men here. And this is going to be a 40 character roster. How many X-Men in total are going to be here? I don't really know. I don't know if they would go far beyond 4, maybe 5 X-Men. But would there be another X-Men that could squeeze their way in here? I have 2 more picks. It's probably overstepping here. But I have 2 more X-Men that I just think would be... They're not necessarily locks, but I think they're more dream picks that I think would be interesting to be here. The first would be Nightcrawler. If I can find the lad, and hopefully he is on this list. All right, Nightcrawler. Surely the lad is on here. Night. There's Nightcrawler. Now, what could you do with Nightcrawler? Obviously, I think his teleportation would be a equally annoying gimmick, as well as a fun one to do. Having him teleport all across the screen and stuff like that. And then this one is kind of maybe more of a wild card than Nightcrawler, and that is Mystique. If I can find her here. Now, I gave a little bit of thought to her. I think you could go one of 2 ways. I think the most obvious thing that you could do is kind of make her like a everything character. Like if you're familiar with characters like Mokujin from Tekken or Inferno from Soul Calibur, they're characters that randomly will inhabit the moveset of different characters in the roster. So each round you're basically playing as something new. Like she tag into her once, she has Spider-Man's abilities. Tag into her a different round, she's got Captain America's abilities. So you could work her like that, or you could give her the moveset that pieces between, so she has the ability to transform into different people, a moveset that kind of transfers between like maybe characters that aren't big enough on their own to have a roster spot, and give her unique gimmicky things that she could do between those characters. So maybe you could do something like that with Mystique, or I don't know if that'd be interesting or not. I feel like there's one more X-Men that I think is probably important to be on here that I'm leaving off, but we probably got too many X-Men as it is, as I'm just throwing in some of my random BS characters. But I think it would be bad not to have... Where is she? Where's Rogue? Rogue. There she is. And in a similar gimmick, while she doesn't transform into other people, she can steal people's powers. You could give her an ability to, like a command grab that absorbs people's abilities on contact, and you can give her like a one-shot option to do it, and then she resets and has to steal another power again. I think that would be a cool gimmick for her to have, and I think should be cool here. But I think that's all we're gonna fit in here on X-Men, because right now we're probably overloaded on X-Men, especially for a roster. While 40 is a lot of characters, once you actually start throwing stuff up here, we're running out of space pretty quickly. So who next? I think we're gonna move on to my favorite verse of Marvel and Spider-Man. I'm definitely a Spider-Man fanboy. Spider-Man more than likely is going to be my main in this game because Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel character. But being Spider-Man has a lot of iconic characters in his comics and a lot of, well, in my opinion, I think he has the best rogue gallery in comics as well. I think there's a lot you could choose from, but we're going to have to try to keep it small. But who are obvious picks from Spooderman? Now, I think there's one that is for sure a deadlock for Spider-Man, and that would be the lad Venom. I think Venom's got to be here. I think Venom is probably, other than Green Goblin, Spider-Man's most iconic villain. And we're also going to throw another symbiote up here, which I think would fit very well. And that is Carnage, which he has to be on here somewhere, I would imagine. But because I don't know my ABCs, it takes me a while to find characters. All right, so we got Carnage, Venom. Now, who else from Spider-Man comics to be here? I would almost borderline say that Miles Morales is a lock for this game. At least, if not on the base roster, he's going to be DLC. He is unique enough and iconic enough where he can have a widely vaster, different moveset between normal Spider-Man and himself. So I think Miles is damn near a lock. And I do think I have two more characters that I'm thinking of. I don't know if they would actually be locks or not. This is also a dream roster as well. And the one of them being Dr. Octopus. Now, would he be in here under Dr. Octopus or just Octopus? Wouldn't make sense if it was not Doc Oct. Let's look at our doctors. Dr. Bong. I don't even know who Dr. Bong is. Dr. Bong, Dr. Spectrum, Dr. Strange, Dr. Voodoo, Domino. Well, this is going to be awkward if he's not on this list. Then we'll just have to not... This is just Doc Ock. That would also make sense. DOC, Dr. Spectre, Dr. Strange, Dr. Voodoo, Domino. Is Doc Ock not on this list? Am I fool and just not seeing him? More than likely. Surely to God he's not in the O's as just Octopus. That would be hysterical. But am I right? Or am I wrong? Okay. Where are you, Doc Ock? It would make no sense for him to be down here. Maybe this person thought Doc Ock maybe not important enough to put on the list. But would he be on here as Otto Octavius? Surely not. Freaking Sandman is here. How is Doc Ock not here? Well, I'm probably just horribly overlooking him. And looking like more of a buffoon than what I actually am. Actually, probably an apt description of me. I don't know how interesting it is having me look around for Dr. Octopus. But I, unfortunately, cannot find the man. Do I see Otto Octavius? Oh, maybe he's just actually not on this list. Oh, there he is. He's just DR. All right, I've lost him. I've dropped him prematurely somewhere. Now I don't know where he is. Oh, no. I'm an idiot. Well, you know what? I'm going to find him and cut back real quick. All right, I found him as a I'm an idiot. All right, so we got Doc Ock up here. So now we got 4 Spider-Man characters in addition to Spider-Man. Do I want to throw one more up here? I think I do. This is probably one too many, but I think I do want to throw Green Goblin up here because I think, I think he's the most iconic Spider-Man villain. And I think he kind of more or less earned a spot. Again, this is probably way too many Spider-Man characters and X-Men, but hey, we're building a roster that we want. Now, speaking of locks, I think obviously Thor is going to be here. I don't know how you could have this without Thor. So we might as well just cover the other Avengers as well. I don't think all of them are locks, but I think there are enough iconic ones to be here. I think if I were a betting man, I would probably think Black Widow probably has a good shot of being here, as well as Hawkeye. Now, while they might not necessarily have the most interesting powers, maybe, I do think they're cool, but I think they are iconic enough with the movies and comics and everything else to warrant a spot here to sneak in. And speaking of Thor, I do believe his brother also probably gets in. I think we're probably going to get a Loki sighting here as well to finally make it into the final roster. And speaking of Avengers enemies, I think Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet will also worm his way in here. Presuming I can find him on this list. I almost grabbed Thane. All right, let's not lose him. I don't want to have to hunt again. So yeah, we get Thanos here. I think he's obviously probably going to be here. And while not as maybe iconic to some, I'm thinking kind of like movie land and stuff like that and iconicness as well as that. So I think Ultron might have a decent shot of making this base roster here. Now, who else can make it here? I think Deadpool is probably worming his way in here. I also would bet that Daredevil and probably the Punisher would be cool and interesting picks to be up in here. Now, the question is he in here as Punisher or as the Punisher? We're going to find out shortly. All right, what are you in here as? Is it the Punisher? I know I saw him. Surely it's not Frank Castle. All right, the Punisher. The spot, the void, the wall, the watcher, the wink, the thing. A lot of those here. All right, maybe it is just Punisher. Puck, Benema, purple. Where is the Punisher? I know I saw his ugly mug here. But now that I need to find him, I can't. Half this video just me hunting. All right, there we go. There's the Punisher. Look at that wonderful smile. So yeah, I do think Daredevil, Punisher, I think they kind of go together almost at this point because of the show now. But yeah, I think those two are probably pretty good picks. Now for Guardians of the Galaxy, you got Star-Lord here. I don't know how many of them actually get in, but I feel like I feel pretty good about saying that Rocket and Groot are going to get in. I'm only going to put one of them up here because I don't think they will be in as separate characters. I think they'll be more like, not like a puppet character, but like two characters that are bundled together. Because I think Rocket and Groot go together. I think there's a lot of interesting things that you can also do to fit those two up here and make them one character. Now, I don't know how I feel. I don't think Drax is base roster. I think there is an argument to be made for Gamora being on here. But I don't know if I want to throw... I think I will throw Gamora up here. I don't think they're all getting in, but I think she has the best shot. I don't think Mantis or Drax get in base roster at the very least. Now, Doctor Doom is here. It's a 4v4 game. I kind of feel like the entire Fantastic Four should be here. Doesn't mean that they necessarily will, but I believe it just makes too much sense for them not to be here. It's a 4v4 game, so let's go ahead and throw Invisible Woman. Let's go hunt and find Mr. Fantastic. There's the lead. There's Reed Richards. I don't know if they put him in there by the superhero name sometimes or just their full names. So is Johnny Storm going to be here, or is the Human Torch going to be here? What is the actual question? Or actual answer to that. Hercules, Hell, 5 Gallon, Howard the Duck. There's Human Torch. He was denied a bank loan. All right. And we're missing the Thing, which I know I've seen a couple times. And there he is. There's the Thing. So we got our Fantastic Four here. Now, we got 2 more slots here. I think these hold 18, if I counted right. So we're already at 36, or almost to 36 characters. So we got 34. So who else do we think are being here? Like, who is really iconic enough to make this base roster? They did say that they were going to also do some weird stuff as well and put characters who have never been in a fighting game or anything like that before in it. So by that logic, I think I'm going to throw Moon Knight here. I think he's weird enough, but also has enough notoriety to be in here, especially with his had like a TV show. And I've always thought he was kind of weird and interesting in the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. So I'm going to throw Moon Knight up here. Now, who also would be weird enough, but also popular? If you know who I'm actually forgetting, that should probably be up here, is one Doctor Strange. I feel like Doctor Strange probably is going to be on this base roster because I think he's just weird enough. Now, let me double check and count how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we got 36 characters. So we only got 4 more that we can fit. This filled up fast. I don't know if we have enough villains, but God, there's so many characters that I think should be on here. And one of them is Blade. I kind of feel like Blade is cool enough. I think you do enough unique things with him. And I don't think he's never been in a Marvel vs. Capcom game or anything like that. So I think Blade would be a good character to be here. Speaking of Blade, since I see him right there, Black Panther. Black Panther is going to be base roster. I kind of feel like that is a almost certainty. But who else? I feel like we got 2 slots. Do we go just outright popular? Or do we kind of get weird with it? So we don't really have much Iron Man representation other than obviously Iron Man. Do I want to put War Machine up here? Would War Machine maybe be base roster? Is he interesting enough? You know what? I will throw Rhodey up here. Let's throw War Machine. All right, now we got one more. And I don't know if I want to do another hero or villain or what, because we've got a lot. These are mostly heroes for the most part, which, I mean, it makes sense. When I'm thinking of villains, we've already got a ton of X-Men characters, but Apocalypse keeps coming into my mind. I think he would be pretty cool as well. Throw in here. I see Ant-Man. I can see Ant-Man as a possibility of making it in here. He is an Avenger. But is he big enough to be base roster in a game like this? I'm trying to think what all you would do with him as well. We got Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones as well. All interesting characters. There's Blackheart. This is a tough one. Who do I want to close this out with? You know what? I think I actually see who has a good chance. I'm going to throw Vision up here. I think Vision has enough stuff for where he could fit on a base roster. And I think he's iconic enough and well-known enough to wiggle his way here, but still obscure enough where he's not like been in any like mainline games as like a focal point or anything like that. So I do think he probably makes it on here. I think this would be a decent roster. Again, I don't think it's going to be 40 characters. I feel a lot of these characters are probably not going to be on here, maybe DLC. But this is just kind of a weird quirky thing of halfway between realism and halfway between what I want. Though I think this would look really differently if I just went full on dream roster scenario, which I may do again. I could be convinced to make another tier list if this video does halfway decently, if anyone cares about my dumbass opinion in any way, but I just thought this would be fun to do. But yeah, this is our base roster of 40. I don't think it's a bad base roster. I know there's characters that I'm missing, and probably characters that are here that probably have no chance of being in the base roster. Looking at you, Doctor Octopus, but we can dream, can't we? All right, let's do the DLC. Let's fill out who's going to be, if there's for some reason a 10 character pass, who's making it in. Now I see 2 right here in the A's that I think fit that bill, and I'm going to put Apocalypse and Ant-Man. I think they could move some DLC here. They're not quite base roster characters, but interesting enough to where you could do stuff with them to pull people in to buy some DLC, of course. Now, who else can we use to fill out this roster? Now, I had a thought, and that thought, if I don't know what she's in here under, but I'm thinking Spider-Gwen. I think Spider-Gwen would be a good DLC character. Another Spider-Man character, go figure. But yeah, I think should be interesting enough. And I'm gonna throw Blackheart in here, just through sheer bias from MVC and a little game called War of the Gyms I used to play a lot when I was a child. I just think Blackheart's cool, so we're gonna throw him up here. Now, who else would be good? We've got 4 of our 10. Who do we think would be cool enough to move DLC units? This were probably where we could fit in Drax, actually, from Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think Mantis would quite make it in as DLC, at least not season 1, I wouldn't think. But I think Drax the Destroyer could very well be DLC here. Now, who else do I want to throw up here? I don't know if I want to do more Spider-Man. You know what? It's my list. There's another character that I want to throw badly on the base roster, and that's Miguel O'Hara. We're going to throw Spider-Man 2099 up here as well, for sheer just because I want him there. Now, only got 1 X-Men. Well, he's not even X-Men, but from the X-Men version, Apocalypse. Part of me wants to throw Gambit up here, because I think Gambit is cool. Would he realistically be DLC? At least early DLC. Who knows? Didn't mean to put him that high. I'm gonna throw him here. I want Gambit, damn it. Now, who else? It's kind of scrolling through here. Who catches my eye? We don't have... You know what? Not Red Skull. But I think... Would he be in here as Winter Soldier or Bucky Barnes? I think Winter Soldier could be good DLC, since we don't have any real Captain America representation on the base roster. Now that gives us 8. Who are 2 more I'm going to throw on here? Oh, there's a whole ass Fantastic Four just panel, but we needed them up there individually anyhow. Now, who would be cool? Villain? Do I do more heroes? Don't really know how I want to go about it. There's just so many characters, and when I see them all, I just get kind of overwhelmed. Because I have thoughts and then I just forget altogether. But I'm gonna say Sentinel. Why not? Sentinel's well known from Marvel vs. Capcom and X-Men as well. I think people would probably enjoy to see Sentinel in the game, so why not? Why not have him on there? Now, do I want to get selfish, or do I just kind of want to... Yeah, let's put Morbius in the game, actually. Let's get Morbin time in here. Alright, who would be cool? My mind is just going to Spider-Man, just because I'm horribly biased. Like, I kind of almost want to say, like, maybe Hobgoblin, or I don't know, Hobgoblin. There's Tombstone. There's Scorpion. I don't know. You know what? I forgot all about Shang-Chi, and now that I see him before me, I think, actually, I know who I'm forgetting. She should honestly probably be on the base roster. There's actually two that I'm seeing here that I completely stupidly missed. And that is Phoenix, or Jean Grey, and the Scarlet Witch. But I'm going to limit myself. I'm going to stand by the decisions that I made. We're not taking anybody off, and I'm going to throw Scarlet Witch as DLC. I think Jean Grey has a really good shot of making either one of these, and will probably make it over the dumbass choices that I made, but this is my decision making, and I'm going to live with it. So yeah, here is my slightly realistic / slightly dream roster of who or who may not be in Marvel Tokon. I'm not going to read off their names individually because you don't want to hear me do that. But here it is. Let me know what you think. Am I stupid? Probably yes. Who do you think should be up here? Who should I take off? Who would you flip flop around? And I don't know if this video does well enough by my standards. I could be convinced to make just a completely biased roster. A roster so biased that it would have Spider-Man Unlimited up here. Even though I'm probably the only person that maybe remembers Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon from the 90s. But that's the kind of characters that I would throw up here in that world. But yeah, here we go. This is the list that I have made, and I will stand by forever. Maybe not. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here, I guess. We've done what we needed to do. I hope this was enjoyable on some level. I know it was probably maybe a little bit more tedious as you watched me just scroll through and having to find characters because I don't know my alphabet and don't know where letters stand or what letters mean. But all right, again, feel free to let me know what characters you want to see in Marvel Tokon, what you're excited about, what you want most from the game itself, if not the characters. And yeah, I'll go through the comments if I get very many. But all right, again, gonna end the video here. If you made it this far, I thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you do feel like it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.